Live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's a guy who has delivered 0 of his 2 children. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our first Sunday night BB25 recap, and I thought it was a fun episode tonight, so looking forward to talking about that, and of course, everything that's been going on over the weekend on a very busy season of BB25 with a great panel. Of course, back with us tonight, a guy who has gotten no breaks over the last couple of days, and that's just the way he likes it. It's Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm great. You know, Rob, when I told my friends that I wasn't going to be able to hang out with them much because Big Brother was on, they were like, whoa, Big Brother, that nerdy show? And I had to be like, well, come on.
Don't say it like it's nerdy.
Don't say it like it's nerdy.
Don't say it like it's nerdy. Yeah.
It's fine. It's not nerdy. We're all cool here.
Yes. Well, we're cool this week because everybody's talking about BB25. And so we get to come back on and talk about this episode. Of course, back with us, a woman who would be just as proud as Surie is to be in the house with Jared as if she was in the house with Pepper or Cinnamon. Aysha Welch is here. Aysha, how are you?
Hello, Rob. I'm so excited to be here. I am loving this season. I am just, I'm beaming every time I'm watching the feeds. I slept very little this weekend watching the feeds. I'm just so happy to be here and, doing, finding out more about myself. Because, as they always say, the more you find out about who you ain't, the more you find out about who you are. And I feel like that's what this season's teaching me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's been a educational season so far. Surie's teaching us a lot. All of us.
Aysha, when your dogs showed up on that screen behind you, and you saw your own face reflected back,
Yes.
How much did it mean to you?
It meant the world. I just can't stop crying. I'm bawling because you see that? It's me, and then me.
Yes. Okay. And of course, we had to have our own Kirsten expert here to talk about one of the 2 nominees for eviction this week. Of course, she has been as busy as Taran has been with Big Brother. She has been this busy covering hot dummies on islands for the last couple of weeks. Please welcome back Kirsten MacInnis.
Hello. I was worried you wouldn't have me on because my name starts with a K, but thankfully you let me into the StreamYard.
Okay, well, honestly, Kirsten, we're happy to have you here with us, but I hear you are scheduling a lot of other podcasts with other people. And so just want to find out where you're at with everything.
I will kick myself in the ass as many times as I have to prove my loyalty, Rob. Don't worry.
Yeah, because you told me privately that you were like, hey, Rob, I just want to make sure, a lot of people, they make fun of the old podcasters and they're very disposable, but I just want to make sure that you're not going anywhere.
That is true. I did say that. I'm sorry.
Well, wait a minute. She made the Legion 6 with me and Aysha just 5 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. We'll get to the bottom of this. All right. So
I'm messy. I can't help it.
We're going to cover everything from the episode. And then if you're just joining us for the first time this season, then we'll bring in everything from the live feeds over the weekend later on in the show. You can also post your questions here in the chat if you're watching us here live on YouTube or Twitch, where we stream all of our episode recaps right after the show. Go ahead and post your questions, and then we will bring them in later on into the show. So I thought this was a very fun episode number 2. Boy, I mean, what a big gap though in between from a Wednesday night to, I feel like that the season started 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
It's
been a while.
It's been a minute. And so there we are. We're back on night 1, trying to catch up on everything. Taran, did you feel like that they did justice to, basically, this was 24 hours that we saw here in the episode, right? Or maybe 36?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it did it justice. I think they did about as well as we could expect given their time constraints. There's so much that was already happening at that point. To give it justice, I think we would have felt a little bit more of that kinetic energy. But I think that they did a perfectly fine job. There wasn't anything that was too egregious, and they really were able to hone down the bare bones of what was going on.
Okay. All right. So Taran and I have had the opportunity to speak about the season just a little bit. Aysha, your thoughts so far through a couple nights of BB25?
I'm loving it. I feel like it's been so enjoyable. It's been great to just be able to thoroughly enjoy the feeds, get to see Surie. Oh, it's just, I haven't been able to stop talking to my friends about it. Just like, okay, you don't understand who Surie is. Okay. It has just been, it's just so fun. I can't even express it in words. I guess when I'm watching feeds, I am just beaming. I'm smiling from ear to ear. And I even watching the episode tonight, I realized I was like, I'm just sitting up here smiling, just like a giddy little girl, just so happy to just see Surie on the screen, to finally get to see these DRs, to see how happy she is to be in there with Jared, to find out that Jared knew that she was going to be in there, and just to see how that played out. So I am loving it.
Yeah. And Kirsten, how about for you?
I mean, what can you say that has not already been said? We, in the year of our Lord 2023, get to see Surie Fields work her magic on the live feeds. I've won strategy.
And on the traders in the year 2023.
Big year for Surie and for all of us who are Surie appreciators. It's just so fun. I did see people a little bit like, wow, Jared and Surie knew that each other were going to be there. Yeah. Oh, duh. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
There was a chance.
Yeah.
No, stop it. There was no chance. Like the whole thing. Like they're always like, oh, you can't tell anyone what you're doing. Oh, it has to be a secret. Come on.
Stop it.
Stop it. Of course they knew.
I rewatched the premiere over the weekend, and the Jared has like no reaction whatsoever to walking in the house and seeing Surie. Like, you cannot tell me that he did not know that was going to be a thing. Has this come up, Taran? Yeah. Has anything? Do we have like conclusive evidence that he knew?
I don't think
he knew.
He said it in the DR tonight.
Yeah. He knew.
He said the plan was to keep it secret.
Yeah. Okay.
An insane plan, though. They have the same face, literally. I don't understand how anyone doesn't see the resemblance.
Well, it's working so far.
She has a son named John, not Jared. Of course. So that's why.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So early on in the episode, we got to see, first off, amazing that we had a Big Brother episode with a Surie highlight package from Survivor. I was not expecting that. Was pleasantly surprised. That was a really nice catch up on Surie for the people who were coming in, not knowing her backstory. And even if you did, that was fun to get all those Surie clips here in a Big Brother episode.
Yeah, that's the Survivor.
Multiverse.
Charlie Parsons must not be very pleased. I don't know how he feels about Big Brother nowadays, but
yeah. Well, it all started with Paramount Mountain.
Such a beautiful thing. Come on, it was amazing.
Amazing. Okay, so we got all that, but very quickly, Izzy, that we saw this at the tail end of the Wednesday night episode over the closing credits, that we saw Izzy having the confrontation with Jared about that she knew. She, like many of us, is stalking Surie's social media and knew, okay, Jared is Surie's son. And this is pretty impressive. Kirsten, though only one out of the other 15 house guests was following Surie that closely.
And honestly, the other house guests should look at their life, look at their choices.
This was a self-report on their part. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're wearing mics, so obviously Izzy sounds louder to us. But I just felt like she was so loud in the kitchen.
It was so loud. It's listen.
Is that Surie? Okay, come here, Jared. I knew it. You're Surie Fields' son, aren't you? Listen, come here.
That was not very quiet.
That for the show, though, right? Like that's not actually how loud it was, or
I mean, you can tell that she doesn't even start whispering until like the final word. She's like,
Is that Surie? Okay, come here, Jared.
Come here, Jared.
Okay.
I knew
it. You're Surie's Fields' son, aren't you?
But yeah, like if other people still didn't even clock, like because if people had overheard this, we would have had this as a topic of discussion all week long.
That's part of it too, though, is that we saw the non-reaction on the live episode, and now on the edited version, you kind of have to like pay attention. But Felicia is we know went right to Surie, started talking to her. And Felicia's like, hey, you're Surie. She's like, yeah. Are you playing with us? And Surie's like, yeah, I'm the 17th house guest. Nobody else is even listening to that conversation. They have zero. They're talking amongst themselves as this stranger stands there. So yeah, I think their level of awareness was at an all-time low at that moment.
Yeah, we got a few of the house guests talking about how they recognize Surie. We got Felicia in the diary room. We got Riley in the diary room saying that, of course, I know Surie. I know Surie. Boy, I guess Riley really knows everything about the survivors.
Huge fan.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Really keeps tabs of who's who in the survivor community. Never conflates anybody in the survivor world.
Notoriously a big Boston Rob fan.
Sure.
She loves his podcast.
Yeah. So like speaking of the multiverse closing in, that I saw like a few different commercials for celebrity renovation where it's like, this week Boston Rob heads to JB Smooth's house. I was like, everything is a flat circle now. Yeah,
we've got
if you know,
previews for
Yeah.
the next season of Survivor. We've got previews for the next season of The Challenge with Big Brother and Survivor players. We've got previews for Boston Rob. It's
Tyler
just all
and
the same.
Tiffany are popping up on the bottom of the screen like, watch The Challenge coming up on Thursday. It's
Yeah,
just
Global didn't have any of those ads, so
It's one big show.
Yeah, it's one big show. And I mean, you got to hand it to them because it makes people that don't watch all of these things realize, like, wait, I probably should. Welcome all you new Big Brother watchers.
Yeah, and if you're joining us here for the first time, make sure you don't miss anything when you go to robisawebsite.com/subscribe. The only way to keep track of every single show you're watching is to come with us for a podcast journey at robisawebsite.com/subscribe. This episode was mostly about the nominations and how we ultimately got to the two people left on the block. I'm curious to know that from the episode perspective, it made it seem like that maybe like Kirsten just got caught up here. And ultimately, this was just a case of that, Jared had a not so hot read for her. And that's ultimately why she ends up on the block. Taran, was Kirsten worse than what we saw on the actual show tonight?
I would say yes. I think also like it unfortunately does a disservice to the show only viewers, especially those that go on to play the game, to whittle it down to just she played too hard too fast, because Jared himself was playing just as hard and fast, if not harder and faster, in those first 36 hours. The difference is that she was a little bit messier at times. In fact, quite a bit messier at times. That Phalanx 5 thing happened, and she was acting like it was a real thing. But one of her first conversations with Jared alone was like, I don't really like Luke, though. I think he's I don't think he's really down for it. And then started talking about how she felt like the people up in the have-not room were going to make a secret all-guys alliance. And of course, Jared is in the have-not room, so he took a little bit of I don't know about that. Then she started spreading other rumors about like Red trying to start an all-guys alliance, and he clearly is hiding the fact that he has started this all-guys alliance. She kept coming up with these theories and sort of like proposing them as if they were fact, and really kind of confusing people and coming off a little paranoid to a lot of the other house guests. And that on top of the fact that Jared in particular found her to be not very trustworthy, and spreading that to Surie, who spread it to Felicia, really like with them as the core of it, really was able to make the entire house feel like, okay, everybody thinks this. And just like that, within 36 hours, it was over.
So where I'm really trying to like contextualize everything that's going on with Kirsten, I guess I would love to know from you all, like if she was not already on the block, do you think that what she was doing in the first day or two in the house, would that have been bad enough to get her onto the block?
But I think
so.
you have to argue, like, would she have made those same choices had she not been on the block, right? You come into this dumbass twist where you're losing competitions. There's 4 people at risk. It just puts your back up against the wall. And I think that there's a strong chance that, she's probably always going to be messy, it would not have been to the same extent. Like she gets along with people socially, and I think she wouldn't have felt compelled to go so hard had she not been in danger. Although that's of course conjecture.
Yeah,
I think the same actions would have landed her in the same spot, but she might not have made those actions if she hadn't already been in the block. I think one of the most damning things that I didn't even mention was that we got a little bit of this in this episode, that Matt seemed to have kind of some eyes for Riley, and that there was a little bit of drama because people thought Matt had eyes for Kirsten, and Kirsten was concerned that because Matt had eyes for her and Riley might have eyes for Matt, that there might be a little bit of, tension there. She doesn't think Riley's that kind of girl, but it's like the one concern that she has. And she told that to multiple people. It eventually got back to Riley. By then, things had already settled, but that's just another thing that Riley was already HOH at that point. Like, it probably always would have led here.
Right. I 100% believe that even if she wasn't on the block, all of these actions, I mean, it's what came first, right? The chicken or the egg? Because even the Matt thing, I think she would have still done that because it was like they were flirting and she saw this and blah, blah, blah. And so at this point, Riley would have been looking for anything to put someone up. And so people would have got to talking, and then it would have been a house consensus to put her up at that point, I would think.
The episode also painted this as a true blindside for Kirsten, that she wasn't going to come down. Was there any communication that went on between Kirsten and Riley after Riley became the HOH?
Kirsten was actually one of the first people to talk to Riley. Of course, Felicia had gotten in there sooner because Riley hadn't even gotten her HOH room at that point. But once she did get the HOH room, she was up there fast and multiple times. But again, she started pitching to Riley that she thought that there was an all guys alliance forming, which was a slight variation to the pitch that she was making before, that was an alliance that included Riley herself. And so she just removed Riley from her proposed alliance that she was thinking was happening, but just left in all of the other allies that Riley actually did have or thought about having, which only further solidified in Riley's mind, like, this is kind of a threat. She also tried to pitch like an all girls kind of thing, or like, hey, the men are working together, girls should stick together, which Riley wasn't super fond of. And so, even though Riley kind of was like, oh, wow, you've given me a lot to think about, she didn't really promise anything, but never really went back to Kirsten to give her a heads up that things weren't going to be going too well.
A big part of the episode that I thought was so fun was that we finally started getting some of these Surie diary rooms and getting to hear what Surie is thinking about a lot of different aspects of what's going on. We saw Surie getting a little bit emotional, specifically talking about what it means for her to play this game in the house with Jared. Aysha, this was, I thought, so fun to combine into what we've already been seeing over these first couple of days, to start to get now the backstory of like, okay, what's Surie really thinking about playing with Jared?
Yeah, because, well, for one, I love her in the diary room. She's not this, oh, dude, it's like this, and this. I love how natural she is. Obviously, we know she's a pro at this. So seeing her so natural and so relaxed and so just like, where she's just giving us her raw thoughts. That's a beautiful thing. But then in the house, it's hard because when we do get to see moments of them, it's quick. All right, okay, you got to go. All right. So it's not like she gets to just really sit in that feeling and that emotion of how she's feeling with him in there. So I loved seeing like how much this really means and how emotional she is in this moment, just to know she is doing this with her baby boy. She is doing this with her best friend. And so it just was like, oh, it's as if we didn't even know it already. It really, it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And vice versa. It's really fun to, get to see Jared talking about this and getting to know more about their relationship and playing this game together. Like, this is definitely like more wholesome than, Dick and Danielle playing the game together, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they have a relationship. Like, it's a very different situation.
Nobody was forced in with their estranged father that they never wanted to see again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
and thank God for that.
this is really, really cool to see. We got a lot of introductions to everybody. Hopefully, I think everybody got like a little bit of screen time. Of course, they used to make more of a meal for this, like when they used to have like I don't want to like knock the way that we're doing the episodes, episode 1 now, because we get the live feeds. But when we used to do like more pomp and circumstance on the first episode, we used to get like opening the champagne in the house and, hearing what everybody does. And we got a little bit of that here tonight as we got introductions to everybody. We got a lot of Red tonight. We knew Red is going to be a production favorite. Of course, that Big Brother casting, that when it comes down to it, that it's like a cast somebody with Southern euphemisms or draw 25. That they got a handful of cards.
They also love people that aren't very knowledgeable about bidets.
Do either of us look like bidet experts?
Hold on, Taran, you cut that too short. That he says that he doesn't know about bidets. All he has is a garden hose outside the outhouse.
Yeah. So maybe not a bidet expert, but maybe a bit of the MacGyver of bidets.
He knows the function of a bidet. Yeah.
I just, why does this keep coming up? I feel like I personally have been on dozens of podcasts where we're talking about bidets or other gastrointestinal distress, and I'm starting to take it as a personal attack.
It wouldn't be a Big Brother season if we're not bideting it up at least once per season, all right?
Yeah. And today is bidet 5 in the Big Brother house. Welcome back.
Oh no. Oh no.
You can use that on the update, Taran.
Please don't.
You got a lot of Red. We also found out that Red has delivered all of his children. That came up tonight, and we got this moment from Red.
I've actually delivered all my kids, so I'm very.
I wouldn't trust Red to deliver my Uber Eats. Let alone
I like
a
Blue's
baby.
response to that. Like it's a really nice idea, but could never be me.
Is it a nice idea? Because the idea of it in my head does not feel nice.
I mean, I assume that he's just like there to catch the baby in like the last moment when it pops out. Like he's not doing.
He's not handling it.
You
all.
don't know that.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, Taran, are you not that much of a DIY guy?
I'm not the MacGyver of delivering babies.
He's got the garden hose right near the outhouse, Taran. He's ready for anything.
I can clean right up. All right. I'm ready to go for that.
Yeah.
Good.
Also,
I
maybe
know.
not necessarily where, the most trusted OBGYNs maybe don't also have an outhouse.
Right.
Probably not.
Typically indoor plumbing, it comes along with the top people in the field.
I mean, a garden hose really gives an all new meaning to a water birth. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot that this was how we were presented with how Red talks on the show.
Yeah.
Because when you see him on the feeds, that's not the Red. We're getting an amplified Red.
Oh, he's giving us the Jasmine?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Would you disagree, Taran?
No, he's definitely our Jasmine, I think.
I can't wait till he gets injured.
Yeah. So he's there to play the Chillbilly character.
Yeah.
What did Cameron call him? The space hillbilly or something?
Hillbilly.
Yeah.
The space Chillbilly?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Chillbilly is not a thing. And we need to all stop trying to make it a thing.
I don't know. Do you have evidence to prove it's not a thing, Kirsten?
Just the feeling in my soul and the way my stomach like turns in a knot when I hear someone say it isn't right.
How do you feel about telling a Billy to chill?
Well, I mean, normally Billies are known to be pretty silly, so you might need to tell them to chill.
Right?
I don't know.
And space is
That's
cold,
just Billy.
right?
Space is, very, very cold. Space.
That's what I've heard.
That's the
Yeah.
rumor.
Yeah. Okay. Although the good thing about space is you can't hear the diary rooms.
Yeah, I guess so.
That is true.
Yeah. All right. All right. We got also a lot of Cameron tonight. Also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what Cameron's thing is.
Being the worst. Listen, you call Surie random one time and you will never be back in my good books. Like, it doesn't matter what he does.
He said, we got this random survivor player in the house.
Absolutely not. Unacceptable.
But this isn't if you want to see a random survivor player, watch the challenge. This is not a random survivor player here in the Big Brother house.
This is like the survivor player, you know?
Yeah.
So
I
don't know what he would have to do to get back in. Well, not
the
back,
main character from
to get into
Survivor.
my
Stop
good
it.
graces. I don't know.
Stop it, Cameron. Okay. We got to see everybody got to say something. Any standouts here from the introductions?
Well, I will say with Cameron, and this could just be going so deep into the conspiracy theories that is Twitter. But if you really look at Red and Cameron in the face, we don't know what they look like without their beards. Could
Father
they be
and son.
twins?
Twins.
I don't think
How
they're
was nobody
twins.
else seeing it?
Yeah.
Wake
They're
up,
getting along
sheeple.
very well. Yeah. They are getting along pretty well in the house.
I know.
So,
Just putting it out there so it's on record.
I did like the laugh segment. We got Heisem gave a bit of a laugh.
I love it.
And then we got Mimi's laugh, which was an imitation of Heisem's laugh. How do we think she did?
I don't think she nailed it.
There's too much hoarseness in hers. Yeah, it wasn't.
I
quite.
mean, she sounded like she was in distress, not like she's enjoying a little joke.
Yeah. Then later we got Felicia's laugh.
That was good.
I love that.
Her laugh is the best thing that has happened to me this week. I cannot help but laugh when I hear her laugh. If you go through my Twitter likes, there are so many videos of Felicia laughing that I have liked. It's gold. It's the loudest thing ever. And she just laughs from her core. It's like her whole body is involved in the laugh. And that's how you should laugh.
Yeah. No, she's been really, really great to have. A very fun addition to the cast. She didn't have a ton to do in the episode tonight.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to say production was so wrong for making her say bye, Felicia, at the end of the episode. She did not want to do that. That was like Julie Chen, like with a gun, say it.
And don't you worry, we'll hear it all the time.
They will not say bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
They won't say it, but I'll clip it.
Okay. And don't even get the announcer man started because he can't.
We can't even say Kirsten's name.
What did he say?
He said Kirsten.
Okay.
So many of them were saying Kirsten.
It ain't right.
All right. During the introductions, we had the return of Corey from, of course, that he had to spend at least 90 minutes in
The nether region.
The nether region. He's back. We did some special effects. Was this necessary to make it seem like that he appeared in the scary room?
No, he really did, Rob. That's how multiverses work. You just go flying through the wall in a hospital bed, and that's how you move from multiverse to multiverse.
Yeah. Okay. Corey's back, Taran.
The way he has described this in the look, I'm firmly on the man, Corey got put in a bad spot here because he did, as did Kirsten and Jared and Felicia. But being pulled into the nether region and not being able to interact for the first little bit was bad. And then, having that thing hanging over his head, people thinking maybe he gets some sort of power. What did he have in there? But all that said, the way he described how this went down to the other house guests was yeah, so I was in the scary room. And then that's about all I'm allowed to tell you. No, that's all there is, apparently. Literally. What do you mean? Why are you saying that?
They gave him a cue card. and he read off of it. Like it's not that deep. I also just need to say, I know this has been said to death, but like, why'd they have to call it the nether region? Like, I guess they couldn't call it hell because that would offend Julie, but like,
you think that's what she's like? I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that.
But like,
Take it off. Take it
region's
off
not
my
nether.
prompter. We'll call that.
She had to do a prayer real quick.
This is literally the show that has multiple contraptions designed for you to be able to like kick yourself in the butt. I think that the nether regions was entirely intended.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
feature,
just
not a bug.
that.
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
don't understand why he had to be gone so long if there was nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Like an
And we didn't
hour?
get any sort of backstory. We didn't
They
see
should've
where
at
he
least-
was. You know, we
I
didn't.
think it's gonna come back in the future, and that's where it's gonna actually do something. And that's why they introduced it here. But yeah, this is just dumb.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
should have brought out the robot so that he could have some presence in the house while he's in the nether region.
Well, for Corey, when he comes back, what a surprise to learn not only that there is a 17th house guest in the house since he left, but also that it is Surie from Survivor. So a big surprise. Corey tells us that he knows Surie's playbook. He's seen it before, and he knows that she works with people, and then she gets them to trust them, and then Surie gets to the end. Classic Surie, the thing that always happens.
She's
To be
always just getting
fair-
to the end.
To be fair, he has watched The Traitors most recently, and so that's probably
That
what he's
did
thinking.
happen once.
Yeah.
That did happen once, but that is, not the Surie playbook.
I mean, didn't she also win Snake in the Grass?
She was correct. So the snake in the grass, snake in the grass, spoilers. So Stephanie LaGrossa was the snake in the grass, and Surie clocked it instantly. Stephanie, with all due respect to Stephanie, was atrocious at being the snake in the grass. Like, everybody knew beyond a shadow of a doubt. So for Surie, clocked it instantly, but it was more of a co-win with Rachel and Janelle on Snake in the Grass than it was a Surie out and out victory.
So she worked with people and then got to the end with them. What's the problem?
And there's really nobody gets voted off either on Snake in the Grass. It's not necessarily a good 1-to-1. But Corey, he called this shot here tonight.
I'm gonna beat Surie. It's the last thing I do.
Wow.
No.
That might
Right,
be
big
your
talk.
device, Corey.
Famous last words.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like just having that recorded, you just don't even say it because then you're jinxing it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, maybe just because I don't know. I thought that Corey secretly knew that Jared was Surie's son and that he hadn't told anybody and that he just wasn't giving that away. And I was like, okay, maybe if we see on the episode, he might explain, like, okay, I know this, but I'm keeping it in my pocket until I need to explain it. No, he doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
anybody
what
else
I'm
knows.
saying.
I think any
Izzy.
theories that somebody knows and is hiding it, I think at this point, all squashed.
Okay. There was a very fun moment that was between Jared and Surie tonight, talking about the aforementioned Hyman, aka Hysim.
Hyman.
No.
Ism.
Yes.
Heisman.
Ism. Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, it was night one. Look, they're all learning all of these names. It takes us a little bit to get the pronunciation down, but yeah, this is the first time since when Derek Levasseur hosted the the recap of halfway through BB19. Do you remember that, Taran?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Jessica and the Hyman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wish I could forget.
Yeah.
Look, so on this note, I went to a bachelorette party a couple weekends ago,
Okay.
and there were 15 of us. And I said, let me test this out. I just got here. I don't know half the people here, but let me learn their names couple hours in, I was able to say names and their relation to the Bachelorette. I was like, why is it so hard for people on Big Brother?
To be fair, you did not have Surie there to correct you when you were wrong. You might have been wrong and just thought you were right.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That could be it.
Yeah, and Surie does correct Jared here.
You said hymen, that's what breaks when you lose your virginity.
Yeah. In fairness, a lot of Survivor fans lost their Big Brother virginity this week.
That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm. So somewhat appropriate.
I just think, I don't know. I think everyone needs sex ed. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We didn't talk about, we got a tour of all of the different rooms also. We got to see the upside down backwards room, and then we got to see the scary verse where people have to wear what like orderly costume. What are they, like patients in some sort of a hospital? Okay.
An asylum, maybe.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anyone in them.
Sure. And then, of course, we got the Have Not room and the introduction of Taran's favorite contraption, the butt kicker 3000.
Oh yeah, it's
Woo!
It's so loud. I just don't understand why it has to be like those sound effects were better than what you experience on the feeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's
The
so
reality
loud. Why did they do that to us? Why?
Mm-hmm.
So loud.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
not great.
Okay. So they seem like they liked it, Taran, in the house.
Listen, like we need to have a conversation about consent. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the introduction of the first real alliance of the season. And I'm using the word real alliance very loosely. It is an alliance. It is a conversation. Of course, it does start off with some discussion of working out. And maybe Riley talks about how everybody should get together at 5 a.m. for workouts and be called
The brochachos.
Okay, we are truly crossing the Survivor multiverse now at this point. But all right, we get 5 people in the room together. Hey, maybe we should work together. Kirsten's on the block. Hey, these people look like they would be good in the comps. In addition to Kirsten, it's Riley, Jared, Luke, and Matt. Hey, let's make an alliance. Taran, the Phalanx 5 is born.
Yeah, this was the first thing we saw on the feeds, which means it was about 3 hours in post competition. Yeah, it obviously wasn't really anything real, but here's the problem. You had 2 people in that group, Kirsten and Luke, who aren't really familiar with the show. And so Kirsten kind of thought it was real, and so did Luke. And then Luke thought, I gotta name this. Let's go. All right. He was, what's our name? Like, this is what we do on Big Brother, right? And that's where it went. A lot of people saying this is a Pokemon as well. I feel like that a lot of those people really want to be heard. So we recognize that this was also apparently a Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but he specifically, didn't they say the spelling? The Pokemon is spelled differently.
Yeah, he said it was a fail. I think he meant it in the other way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's a PH.
it's also a Pokemon.
So,
What is the other interpretation that's not a Pokemon?
well, it has 2 definitions, Rob. I just pulled this up because I felt like it was important. Number 1, a body of troops or police officers standing or moving in close formation. Or 2, a bone in the finger or toe.
I think he meant the first one.
No, I think he meant a bone in the finger or toe. Like they have
Yeah, we
all
all know
one
he's
in
a
each
secret
finger.
doctor,
There's
but
5
geez.
of them. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the Phalanx 5, it was nice. It was a nice moment. Okay. And it does end up being important in that, okay, so Jared is going to know about it and then eventually is going to tell Surie about it. We see Surie and Kirsten talking about that, and she tells Surie that she has a great energy. This was a little audacious, it's seemingly, that she's telling Surie, hey, I got you. gonna protect you.
Yeah.
I know people they like to get rid of the older people. Not gonna happen on my watch. Surie.
I mean, here's the thing. She would die for Surie, and she just might. And
Mhm.
any one of us should be willing to do the same.
Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly like it makes you feel bad for the people that hadn't watched the show before, because they just don't know, you know, like they just don't have even the base level of knowledge that you sometimes would need, and a lot of times those players have the ability to skate by the first couple of weeks, learn as they go, and then they eventually are able to maybe catch up. But this early on and being on the block and, you know, making these mistakes, like this is just going to be her whole experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think the moment they yelled the alliance name in the kitchen or in the bathroom, it was done, right? But Kirsten was like, "Oh, this is it," and I was just her even mentioning it in the DR later. I was like, "Sweetheart, let that go."
No, she's too into it. We're also going to see her talk to Felicia about how, you know, she's going to work with Felicia too.
She got her.
Yeah, she's racking up the allies. All right, but then Jared is going to talk to Surie and says that he doesn't trust Kirsten. Now, Tara, what was Jared's read of not trusting Kirsten based off of?
So, as I sort of mentioned before, they had this conversation where she had already talked about not liking Luke and being concerned about a guys alliance forming up in the have not room. And I think from there, he was like already kind of skeptical of her and what she was doing in that conversation. Like the vibe that she gave to a lot of people while talking game was like, you're throwing a lot out at me. And she would say things like, I'm really doing well with my social game. I'm really out there with my social game right now, but maybe I should bring it back a little bit. And we're like 4 hours in. And he's like, I don't get in your head. All right. Like he was already feeling like this is a lot. And so he was going to bring that to Surie, and then lo and behold, she's already also made an alliance with Surie and them. And at that point, he's like, whoa, we can't trust, like, I don't know where her loyalties lie. She is kind of all over the place. We don't need her in our business, outing our things. And that was the primary concern with Felicia and Surie, was that we don't want to get caught in an alliance this early. And if she's already in other alliances, who knows which one she's actually loyal to? Who knows what information is going to leak out of her? And so they wanted to get on top of the idea that this might leak out. And so they started saying, she tried to make a 4 with us. She was making a 5 somewhere else. She's just so all over the place. And so they were very defensively trying to strike first on Kirsten.
Yeah. And it seems like at this point, like the die is cast with Kirsten. Like it seems like that. Was there anything that happens like from this point on after that was like a real negative in her column?
She did keep having the conversations. She kept pitching various forms and stages of alliances. She kept using like this very flimsy form of evidence to like substantiate her claims, which nobody really ever bought. And it just made like pretty much everyone she pitched to, except for maybe Heisem, responded to her pitch with, she's kind of paranoid. She kind of feels like she's making stuff up. And a lot of them came to that conclusion separately too. It wasn't even necessarily something that was already out there. And so the fact that she kept pushing those things was not great. Now, she did eventually slow down even before the nomination happened. But by then it was really out there. And by then also, I think she was starting to catch the vibe that people weren't really responding super well to her, and started to back off and not know what to do from there.
Yeah, that was my thing with the edit, was like, you know, painting that picture that it was all Surie and Jared and Felicia, but it was really the whole house had their own thoughts about Kirsten. And then they all collectively, once comparing notes, it was just like, okay, Kirsten's public enemy number 1. So I don't want it to seem like, or it made it seem like they were just against her and they made it happen for her to stay on the block. But it was really everybody.
Yeah. All right.
But here's the thing: you throw a lot of things at the wall. You just need one thing to stick. Okay, just need one.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of it really did. So we get to Surie talking to Felicia, and Surie tells Felicia about that Kirsten's doing a lot, and Miss Felicia is not having that. She does not want to be around that in her alliance.
No.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. The second you cross Felicia, that's
Oh, she wasn't coming back from that. We have the HOH competition.
Before we get to the
yeah.
HOH comp, there's one other thing from the early portion. Well, I think one of my favorite moments was after Izzy has confronted Jared and promised Jared. He comes into the storage room with Izzy and says, "Hey, Mom," and watching Surie react in this moment was so interesting because Surie starts off. Izzy comes in and she's like pretending she doesn't know Jared. She's very friendly and bubbly, Surie. And then the second Jared says "Mom," she's like confused. Then he says, "Izzy knows." She knew immediately, and Surie like flips a switch and she looks like she wants to, like she is willing to commit murder to protect her son in this moment. She just, Izzy, you good? You good? You good? And Izzy's like, yeah, I swear I'm never going to say anything. I'm never going to say a word to anybody. I want to work with you. And then she flips right back to Surie and she's like, oh my God, that's so amazing. This is so exciting. We're going to work together. It was so interesting to watch.
Yeah.
She flipped a switch. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
I love that. I mean, I think, but it for this episode specifically, I think it's a tight running with her advice to Jared. She's like, oh yeah, you know, when I saw you, I heard you say that you got to clean that up a little bit. I was like, I love that. It was just the start of the masterclass that we're getting with how to have an amazing social game. I just love that. I've watched that 1,000 times, but clean that up a little bit.
Yeah. And then Izzy's in there in the diary room like, this is so amazing. I like hold their lives in my hand. I'm so excited to play with Surie and Jared. And my mind went to misery. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is a little creepy. She's stalking them on Instagram, found out their secrets, and is blackmailing them with them so that she gets to play with them and be their best friends.
So let's go on the record here tonight. We are day 5 here of Big Brother 25. And so Izzy, I will swear my life to Jared and Surie. It's a long game. What are the chances that Izzy at some point flips away from the fields?
I mean, the question is, we talk about standom all the time, but where did that term come from? Is Izzy a stan of Surie? Will she turn into a stan from the song?
Like the song? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If
they don't keep her happy enough.
Dear Surie,
I think like Izzy
I
immediately
sent you
made
messages
it
on Instagram and didn't get a response. Funny to
Izzy
see
made
you
it-
here. Sorry, Kirsten.
So Izzy made it immediately apparent of what she knows, and by instantly sharing that information does lose some power because now Surie and Jared just know, as long as we're like nice to Izzy, she's gonna be with us and it'll be fine. Like, I guess maybe she could get upset and share the info with other people, but I feel like the longer it takes for that to come out, honestly, people might get more mad with Izzy than they are with Surie and Jared because it's like, well, you knew and you didn't tell us.
Yeah, I'm joking around about Izzy. I think she's ride or die for Surie and Jared. I don't think she will. I think they could betray her, a la the traitors, and she would go down with the ship.
I'll say that I think she cracks at some point. I think she tells. I think she squeals.
She might accidentally. I think.
Yeah. That's the thing. What she like, how quickly she approached Jared in the kitchen. It just feels like a slight liability. Like it's one of those, oh, if we lose you at some point, where we had nothing to do with it. Oops. But I think that's the better move than trying to ride it out to final 3, because if they're already like, oh, we're so close, then that what's stopping anybody from saying, oh, we need to put up some combination of these 3.
Well, she's taken to calling Surie moms when talking to Jared. And I said when we saw Surie, I was like, Jared should never call Surie mom or always call Surie mom. Just like Surie should like make mom her nickname so that everybody calls her mom, so that there's like no chance of like one or the other. So there's no chance of accidentally slipping up. And here's this separate third person who's now all of a sudden calling her moms to just like complicate matters and get the word in Jared's head even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's gonna have to spin it. What did Steve Moses do? Did Steve call somebody mom, or did he say "I love you" to somebody?
He said "I love you" to Davon. Yeah,
love you.
And he was right to say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I love Davon too.
Here's the thing. You're right, Taran, because I don't know. So my mom was my 4th grade teacher. And so during
wow, Aysha.
yeah. So during class or like at school, I called her Mrs. Welch consistently. And then at home, mom, obviously. But I don't know if that took like extra work for me to like, I knew in this environment at school, I'm calling you Mrs. Welch, right? There were 2 kids that went the whole year and didn't know she was my mom, though.
What did you have to like play it off? Wow.
I mean, I just called her Miss. I wanted to seem normal.
Now, I have a question. Aysha, do you and your mom have the same face?
Some people say we do. I think it may be more so as I've gotten older, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but I mean,
so it's
a picture
possible.
of me
you
on her
can go
desk.
a whole year. You can go 100 days, and people won't catch it, even if you have the same face.
Yeah,
it's so hard because like I feel like when you know she's his mom, it's so obvious. But if you didn't know and you weren't looking for it, like would it stand out? And that's where it's hard to know because you can't like erase the knowledge from your head. You know?
Yeah, but there's like nothing else to look at. Like they're all looking at each other's faces for so much of the day. Like I feel like it would click into place.
I will say for a long time, the theories about twins and like siblings was like a common occurrence in the particularly, of course, in 17 when they brought the twins back. Vanessa had theorized that like everybody was everybody's brother, like Johnny Mac and Clay were related. Thanks to Surie and Jared, we have years to come of people speculating that cast members are family related.
Well, we do have the memory wall not turned on. Is there any possibility that not turning the memory wall on is a little bit of an assist to Jared and Surie, that people aren't going to be studying the faces all day long?
I think it's going to go up. I don't think it's in favor of them. I think they're just, for whatever reason, whether it's the theorized, fabled 18th house guest, or they were just waiting for one person to be evicted so that they could have 16 on the screen. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So we got our HOH competition, and boy, I guess we couldn't wait to get Surie back on the balance beam, right?
Yeah. She was talking about that story today, by the way. Tune in tomorrow morning for the update where I'll tell you about it. But she got emotional telling the story. It was actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know
did I cry when she walked across in Survivor? Yes, I did. So I understand being emotional about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So according to, I've spoken to a lot of the different people that were involved there in that story from Survivor Game Changers, and to the people that were there, like it was like kind of like a special moment between everybody when it was actually happening, even though, you know, there is like a lot of joking around about that moment and, you know, what that meant that they stopped down in Survivor, because I think it was really a sneak preview about the direction to which Survivor was going to go over the years. And at the time, it was something that was very different that was in the show. But I digress. Let's talk about this competition. Taran, I hate that they show the winning time to people. It's such an advantage for the people that, I got to go in 22 seconds. Okay, better hurry. Where the people that go in the beginning are like lollygagging.
Massive advantage. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I agree. I think they shouldn't do it. They can show us. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to cut them off and move on once they fail the time, that's fine. You don't have to tell them. But that's how they work. I was pretty unimpressed overall, I will say, at the level of hustle that the cast had here in this competition. The fact that like Riley won this simply because she's the only one that even bothered to like jog at all is kind of mind-blowing. After like we see people sprint across this thing and like lose limbs basically trying to win.
I think it was just very clear that no one wanted it.
Which
So many
truly
people.
Wild decision in this situation where as HOH, you don't even have to nominate anyone. You just get to save people and make them feel ingratiated to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let me argue the case for why people may not have wanted the HOH. One, that this is one where, okay, there's already a bunch of people in any season like, I don't want to be the first HOH. I don't want to get blood on my hands. Second, like the nominees are already set up. So you don't even really get your pick of like who you want to, if you have a target to get out of the house. And also you're out of the running to potentially win HOH in week 2 if you end up winning this first HOH.
The thing is, though, and they talked about this in the house, this HOH is in many ways better than a normal HOH because you don't have the blood on your hands of randomly choosing people to put up on the block. They're already on the block, and you're now saving people. But you have all the power of everyone coming to you, giving you all of their information and wanting to work with you. You get the pick of the litter. You get to create your own structure, and it still has all of the massive advantage with minimal downsides this time around. And it just feels like these players are like stuck in 2010 when this was like the meta for the show. And it's why stuff like Kirsten's playing too hard, too fast. That's why she's being kicked out is so damaging to players who mostly just watch the show. They still think that throwing the first HOH is good, despite the fact that it's proven to be very good for you as long as you're not a Frenchie. It's like, it's frustrating. However, I'll say this. The one person who had a very good reason to throw the competition because of the massive advantage that he had going last was Jag, who already saw that his closest ally was the person who would win if he threw it, and therefore had all the reason in the world to throw this one.
And the fact that they found out that what the HOH would do before the comp, I thought that would change some people's game plans. Like, okay, now I know, like, this is the easiest HOH. All I'm doing is saving, but they still didn't want it. So I get maybe they didn't have time to think it through. They already went into it knowing I don't want HOH, period. So.
Because they just don't, they aren't in these BB streets. Like, I feel like we settled this debate long ago that the first HOH, as long as you don't massively screw it up, is so powerful and so good to have. But yeah, they just don't know our lore, you know? It's fine.
At the end of the HOH competition, we started to get like a little bit of the montage, and taking us through the montage was Corey. And Corey was, getting in some shots on different players. Said that Matt is trash on land, even though he is an Olympic swimmer. I'm just wondering, I saw a little bit of a glimmer here. Do we think it's possible that we could get a Corey as the villain of the season edit?
I mean,
well, he did say he wants to beat Surie, so he's a villain to me.
Yeah.
I think saying I want to beat Surie at all costs is after that like lovely montage of Surie and the diary rooms of her tearing up talking about her son. Absolutely, he is currently the antagonist.
Yeah. And I think that he's like steering into it. I think that he wants that. And I don't think that he is like the type of villain that would be reviled, but I do think he could be like a fun antagonist to, Surie and Jared in the house.
Yeah.
Could happen. All right. Let's see. Let's see where we go with that. All right. So following Riley becoming the HOH, we get like a little bit of her game talk. She has to talk to Miss Felicia about how, like you may need to stay on the block, who takes it pretty well.
Yeah.
She talks to Surie. Go ahead.
This sequence is a little out of order. Basically, how it actually went down, and this is like probably my biggest gripe with the episode, is that there was a little bit of a missed opportunity here. The plan from the start was to take Jared and Felicia off the block, and to leave Corey on the block because everyone thinks he has a secret power because the way he told that story was super weird. And also a lot of people didn't really like him very much. And so Corey being on the block as a backup target to Kirsten made a lot of sense to Riley, and it didn't feel like it would make anybody mad. That was until Corey went up and made this pitch to Riley and really as we saw, solidified a strong bond. She still after that said, "Hey, I'm still gonna have to use you as a pawn though. And that will look, you're going to have to trust me." She did that thing that most people who watch the show have all thought about in their heads. Like, what would I do if somebody told me they wanted to put me up as a pawn? How do I respond? How hard do you fight? And he actually managed to turn it around and convince her not to do it, which is very rare actually in Big Brother, and would have been really fun to see like the full timeline of in an episode, especially for if future players are watching the show and they need to learn that this is actually something you can do. You can fight this. I think it would have been really interesting to show. But instead, I think we got like a much more watered down version of it, and also again went out of order, where it was only after that conversation with Corey that Riley went back to Felicia and said, "I might have to put you up actually."
Yeah, this was really great stuff from Corey. I'm very happy no matter, where we go from here. Looks like he saves himself from the block here in week 1. So I was just, very happy for him to be able to, he came into a bad situation and was able to at least figure his way out of it and live to see another day. I don't know where his game ultimately goes, but I just was very happy for him to be able to, have at least one more swing at this game. He may go out in week 2, but at least he was able, he can always say that he played his way off of the block in week 1.
Yeah.
And Big Brother had the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever with him, and now we're not going to get that.
Yes. What, to have him be the first person out?
Yeah, it would be funny. Come on.
Just for
it would be a little funny.
I will say, and I don't think this is quite a spoiler because they're probably not, because it's inconsequential. It's not going to matter. But there was a reaction that has been discussed on the feeds of Corey being, taken off the block of oh, he was so smug and da 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 da. He smiled. Even Zach just tweeted. He tweeted at the episode. He said, "I'm so disappointed, disgusted. The game makes you do crazy things, but that does not make this behavior acceptable right after such a serious moment. This is not the brother that I know."
Mm-hmm.
Just is hilarious because it wasn't anything.
Yeah. When people don't like you, they see
they make
things.
up whatever.
You could literally be sitting eating crackers, and if someone doesn't like you, they're like, "Wow, look at them eating their crackers."
Look at those Lays. Look at her eating those Lays.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Worth noting that in this pitch to Riley, Corey does reveal that he is the brother of Zach Worthington, I think is his last name, and that's where the Boston Rob clip comes from. They are still not showing any of Zach in this season.
Yeah, I totally saw that this was what Big Brother was going to do. I did not mean it to be insulting in any way to say that. Are they going to even show that he's Zach's brother? And I just feel like that, that they already have a story about somebody that's related to a survivor. This is not a season about 2 people that are related to a survivor. That's Jared already has that. That Corey can't have that. Jared already is the person related to a survivor.
I feel like it's going to be so weird when it becomes important and they have to show it though. Like way late.
We'll
they're going to have
worry
to
about that
out of
later,
nowhere.
Taran.
Like when Corey finally gives in and is like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna ride it out."
It would be like if we didn't find out Frankie was Ariana Grande's sister until the moment when he
Sister?
comes out.
Brother.
Her brother,
Mhm.
sorry. She was his sister.
I mean,
Yeah.
but that was pivotal for
You're
the
so
people
pivotal.
that are there. Listen, my brain is not good. I'm sorry.
Very pivotal.
Yeah.
Pivotal, you know, a real word that exists in the world.
All right. So I think let's go into some questions from the audience first, and then we'll do our live feed update. Does that sound right?
Sure.
Okay. All right. We'll take a few questions. I just want to take a moment and mention how much we're doing right now over on our Patreon. Of course, we know that so many of you love Big Brother, couldn't be more excited. And this season over on Patreon, I think that we have got you covered no matter what type of Big Brother fan you are. Tomorrow, I will be back with the slop with Mike Bloom joining me for the first slop of the season. That's when we talk through all of the nonsense around the Big Brother season. If you have slop that you've seen, you want us to cover it on the show, send that into robisawebsite.com/get sloppy. I'll send a link out to patrons only on Monday. Although this week we're going to post on our Patreon all of the patron content so people can go ahead and get that preview for free at robisawebsite.com/patron. Also, a brand new offering on the Patreon this season. Hold on, stay right there. Not yet. That over on the Patreon, that Shannon Gus, one of the people that I was talking about, that was a newcomer to Big Brother, had never watched it before. She is in this season because she is a Surie Fields completist, and each week we're going to do a podcast that's all about Surie, how she's doing, bringing in the survivor lore of it all, and updating Shannon on how Surie is doing on Surie Watch, a patron-only podcast with Shannon Gus. Plus, of course, we have the patron Q&A with Taran every Friday. And of course, our longtime patron series, the Patron 5 for 5 with the First Lady of Podcasting, Nicole Cesternino, all that and much more in our patron community at robisawebsite.com/patron. All right, let's take some questions from the chat.
By the way, I'm so excited to hear Shannon talk about Big Brother. That's all I have to say.
It's going to be really fun.
got it.
Shannon and I we've done the check-in for Australian Survivor, and that's been very fun, where I come in as a little bit more of the casual. And so now it'll be fun to have the shoe be on the other foot with Shannon.
I do worry for her. I'm worried about her.
This is her first rodeo. Yeah. Go easy on her, everybody. All right. So let's see. How about this question from Kennedy in the chat? Would Corey's persuasive speaking have worked on anyone other than Riley, or was it best case scenario for him? Riley won the HOH and had his ear when she did.
Riley was definitely one of the more open people to Corey. There weren't very many of them. So he definitely lucked out with Riley winning. That said, he has, since done a decent job of working his way in. This is sort of how this archetype usually works. They start off on a really bad foot, and it takes them a little while to really like break down the walls and actually settle in with people. I don't know if he would have been able to quickly enough with a lot of other potential HOHs. So, it's who knows? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it's a little of column A and a little of column B, right? I think he got very lucky.
Still very impressive
with the HOH winner, and then also, I did a very good job by all accounts of everybody with that conversation. Okay. SJ Stone wants to know, now that we've seen the balancing comp consistently in the last few seasons, is the winning strategy to pick the easy path / beam and do it as fast as possible for future Big Brother players?
Yeah, if there's an option that's wide enough to jog, yes, take the one where you can jog on it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it was this time, but like on a season with Michael, it would not have been. Like, Michael would have had half the time, like a third of the time.
Well, yeah, he would have had 3 steps to get to the end of the other one. Like, he had long...
in a season where you're sprinting across the fastest path, and that's the fastest time, then you need to sprint across the fastest path. And that's why the advantage is so huge. If you go last, you can just take a look at the time and quickly judge, okay, should I take the safe route or do I need to go risky? If the time is 11 seconds, you know you need to go risky. If the time is 20 seconds, you know you have maybe a little bit more time. Maybe you can take the medium or long path, depending on how comfortable you feel in the balance.
I
Right.
like the way Riley looked at it. She's like, I trust my speed over my balance. So I was like, I'm smart.
Boom. Okay. Let's do one more question, and then we'll do the live feed updates. This is from Jacob Mobley. Do you think that Corey is hiding his Survivor connection, or hiding his Survivor connection made people think he's hiding a lot more than he actually is? Do you think is that the reason why maybe people are not completely trusting him, because he feels like he's hiding something?
I don't think so. I think if anything, the nether regions made people think he was hiding something, more than anything else.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think giving them the secret will help alleviate some of the concern if and when he does to other people, because they'll feel a little satisfied that they got something.
Okay. All right. For newcomers to the podcast, this is what we like to do. We talk about the episode, and then we're going to bring in what's been going on over the live feeds. If you are a TV show only watcher, we're going to talk about what's been going on over the weekend and with the nominations. And so you will get to know what is happening up for heading into the Wednesday night episode of Big Brother. So that's your warning. That's why you're about to hear this noise, which signals we are getting into talking about the spoilers right now.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the
It was
following
Rusty.
message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler.
Surie, give me an analogy for what it's like to be in the Big Brother house.
Should be taken.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Spoiler time. Taran, what a weekend of live feeds.
What a weekend indeed. It has not really slowed down until it's a little slower today, but like a slow day today is like a fast day on most seasons in regular time. A lot has been happening. The sides are solidifying against one another. Secrets are being shared. People are flipping already. And amongst it all, Izzy is out of control.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, lots to talk about. So of course, we have Felicia and Kirsten on the block. Everybody very much okay with Kirsten leaving. On top of that, they did play in the veto competition, and Heisem won the power of veto. He currently does not plan to use it. And everyone plans on voting Kirsten out over Felicia. They don't even want to have any sympathy votes. They want it to be unanimous. So Kirsten very much still lined up to be going home at this time.
Okay. Did we ever get the resolution to whether or not a person who came down off of the block could go back up as a renom this week?
I believe they can, but at this time, there's absolutely zero indication that Riley would even consider Corey or Jared to be a replacement, even if the veto did somehow get used.
Okay. I understand at this point that things look very bleak for Kirsten staying in the house after Thursday's vote, but is there a path for her?
I think and maybe not the only path, but by far the most likely, which is still very unlikely path for Kirsten, is in order to explain, I need to kind of explain how the sides are working right now. Riley, Jag, and Blue have created a core 3, and from that branched out and created an 8-person alliance that includes Corey and includes Jared. So Jared, of course, immediately told his mom, Surie, about the 8-person alliance. Surie has been solidifying everyone outside of the alliance to make sure that she has the numbers to combat that alliance. And on top of that, Jared has also been working on trying to pull Corey away from them, so to make them 6 instead of 8. And meanwhile, this alliance of quote unquote 8 thinks that they're kind of running the show like they normally would be, if not for the fact that there was a mole amidst their group, right? So with all of that said, the most likely path for Kirsten to stay would be if Riley and that group found out that they'd been found out and that there was a side coalescing against them that they didn't realize. And
Right.
that side, of course, includes Felicia and does not include Kirsten. They
Yeah.
might feel like, let's actually work and pull in Kirsten and take out Felicia.
So it's not so much that Kirsten is necessarily like in bed with either of the sides, but Felicia is such a key cog on the Surie yet unnamed side of the house. I just want to be sure.
There's a group called the Bye Bye Bitches that is led by some of the women, but there's a variety of like different like Venn diagrams of core groups on that side.
Yeah. All right. Could be interesting to watch, although I don't want to see Felicia go home. Yeah,
don't have to worry.
It's
the
very
name
unlikely.
Kirsten is cursed in Big Brother. She's not. It's not gonna go well.
Yeah. More
The
like
thing is,
cursed
even if that did happen and they wanted to take out Felicia over Kirsten, I don't even know that they'd be able to muster up the numbers to do so because Surie and that group has done a very good job of gathering a lot of people. So like I said, very unlikely at this point.
All right. I know it was a very busy weekend. Kirsten, did you have any favorite moments from over the weekend on the feeds?
Well, did you see Felicia fall into the hot tub?
I heard the retelling a number of times. I did not see the clip.
You can hear it. You can hear the clip of it right here.
He said no hot tub. He just said it. They said no hot tub.
No hot tub.
He said no hot tub.
Get out.
For a reason.
I just wanted to dip my toe.
The best
Like
the
America, she was
music.
not jumping in on purpose.
So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, that's a great moment. Aysha, what about for you? Did you have a favorite moment from over the weekend?
Oh, that one was definitely up there. That was my favorite moment. But if I had to think of something else that has happened, that's like so much has happened. It's like all running together. Like I said, any moment that Felicia laughs, is just gold. And it is a very like the feeds are so watchable. Like everything. Even if it's people on, even if they're not on a room that Surie is in, I'm still plugged in and enjoying it. So yeah, I can't think of a specific moment.
Yeah.
Can I give another specific moment?
Please.
Since Aysha can't think of one. I'll take
Yes.
hers.
Yes.
Take hers.
Red is operating under the assumption that Kirsten has some sort of romantic interest in him.
Yes.
And the moment I'm thinking of is when he's telling Surie that, and we get that good Surie laughter. That's another key moment.
Yeah, I don't have that one clipped, unfortunately.
Yeah. What is that based off of? Just that vibes?
Delusion,
Nothing.
you know.
Yeah.
I think it's okay if we all have a little delusion as a treat, but I think Red maybe has a little too much there.
A little too much. Okay. All right. And Taran, do you have a sneak preview of what we're going to hear on the Monday morning live feed update?
So in the attempt to pull in Corey, there have been a lot of conversations. One very good one from yesterday that was on today's update was when Jared was pretending he didn't know about Surie's performance on Survivor, and Corey explained it to his face, and Jared could not contain the smile as he did so, which was very fun. Check out the update from today if you want to hear more about that.
Well, they're a top 10 player.
Yeah. Top 10 player.
Might be low, maybe.
For tomorrow, there's a long conversation between Corey and Surie that took place in the HOH room that is very good and includes some nerdy Survivor questions from Corey and a lot of discussion on how they want to play the game moving forward together. So,
okay, interesting. Yes, Aysha.
So I did want to talk about, since he didn't get much highlighted in the episode, but Matt, and just being able to learn more about him being deaf and how he's like acclimating to even just hearing Big Brother over the intercom, and just how the group conversations are a little bit more difficult because he thrives in like the one-on-one situation. So I'm really enjoying learning about that, and I'll be interested to see if Big Brother does anything to make people more aware in conversations. But I will say,
can I add onto that, because I do have the experience of that. I did play in Survivor once upon a time. Yes, Boston Rob played Survivor, newcomers of the podcast. But in all seriousness, so in Survivor the Amazon, Christy Smith was a part of the cast of Survivor the Amazon, and she was the first deaf person to play in any of these games. And it was very early on in the reality TV universe. And this was, something that definitely was a struggle for Christy. Now, hopefully this is something that Big Brother is able to address a little bit more, but it was something that was certainly part of the show in the early days of the game for Christy, that, in these group conversations, people wandering off. Also, it's something that you deal with on Survivor that you don't deal with as much on the Big Brother, was that, at nighttime, it would be very hard for Christy, who also could, read lips to some degree, that she was not able to see what people were saying on Survivor. People also grow beards. And so that was also something that was hard for her. And so let's see if, Big Brother is able to accommodate Matt in any additional ways.
Yeah, that will be very interesting to see. And I guess also on the Matt note, so I'm telling y'all, the world is so small. My friend, one of my really good friends, texted me, was like,
this is a classic Aysha story coming up.
One of my really good friends was like, hey, you still watch that show, Big Brother? I'm like, yes. And he's like, well, my roommate used to have a roommate at LSU who is going to be on Big Brother. And I was like, that's Matt. And so I was like, can he tell me anything about him? Like, just anything more that we don't know. And he just said that Matt's a really good guy, really personable, really easygoing. I was like, I got that vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So what's that? 3 degrees of separation?
every
so a little
show,
distant for you, Aysha, actually.
Yeah. I know, it is a little
You're
out
slipping
there than what I'm used to.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, BB25 tonight before we start to wrap this up? Okay. All right. Let's just mention, so if you are a Big Brother fan, and I know you are if you're this far into the podcast, okay, play the free Big Brother fantasy game on the Make Your Picks app. All you have to do is download the Make Your Picks app. Robin's Podcast is one of the featured pools where you can draft a team, and hopefully now Surie has been added to the list of players that you can draft. I believe you have to have your official lineup for the game set headed into week number 2. You can add and drop players. You can play all sorts of advantages and stuff like that. So it's a very fun game from Make Your Picks for Fantasy Big Brother. Okay.
Can I quickly just interrupt the plugs here because
breaking news, Taran?
Some breaking news.
Oh, hold
here.
on. Wait, hold on. Give it a proper proper breaking news moment.
Breaking news are happening now.
All right.
Felicia has dropped another one of her microphones in the toilet.
In the toilet?
Yeah, that's number 4, right?
That is her 4th broken microphone in 4 days.
Wow. Is this a record?
I don't know if it's the same for Canada versus US, but I have the experience of they spent an hour in a hotel room with me going over the mic pack and how to put it in like the waterproof thing and what to do when you're going to, like, they spent their time going over how to not drop it in the toilet. So it is really funny that she's already dropped.
I'm just imagining her like maniacally going into the bathroom and being like, hey, I'm dropping this in the toilet.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, this is a historic pace, right?
Truly.
It's 1 a day pretty much.
Yeah.
She just needs, there needs to be a rule, because that's the 3rd in the toilet. Then we had the hot tub one. So she needs to take off her mic. She needs to be allowed to set her mic on the sink. No, that's too close to water. Set the mic over on the chair, then go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know how like when they do like the promos or like the stuff at the beginning of the season, they're like 94 cameras, 120 microphones. Like that number is dropping by the day.
So like the microphones, right? Is it possible that she's like, I'm not wearing the microphone in the bathroom. I'm going to keep dropping it in the toilet until they say to me, Felicia, all right, you don't have to wear the microphone in the bathroom anymore.
I don't think it's that calculated. If it was queen behavior, and I respect it.
Yeah.
But even
That's
if
why
it's just
America
pure
was saying
accident,
you're not allowed in the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
she did go in on purpose.
I think it was Heisem who said they need to just give you a fanny pack so she can put that in there.
Well, yeah, like they can do like a little plastic thing that you zip it into to keep it dry. She maybe will have to keep
find a
hers
way.
in that all the time.
Can I tell you the Survivor microphone trick that goes on?
Sure.
Please do.
Okay. So when on Survivor, I don't know if this is the case now, but way back when, okay, that what they would do for the Survivor mic packs, because you'd be doing things where you're getting wet and dangerous, that the sound person has a like in like the Costco package of prophylactics. And so what they do is they put the mic pack in the latex protective device and then like tie a knot in it. And so basically that they have it like in this like waterproof container.
Wow.
You go in the toilet all at once.
Yes. So many uses. So maybe they may need to bring in some of the Survivor audio people to help waterproof the mics for Felicia.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. It would be so funny if Felicia had a condom hanging off the back to keep her mic back safe.
She hasn't even been there a week. It has not been 7 days, and she's on her. She will be on her 5th mic.
Yep. Okay.
That has to be a record.
All right. So then, okay. We've got still plenty coming your way on Monday. I'll be back talking about Claim to Fame. Jenny Autumn and I will be joined by Mike Bloom to talk about episode number 7 of the summer's other hit reality show, Claim to Fame. It's been a very fun season. Join us then. And this week coming up, get ready for the Challenge USA. We were talking about it, but Allie and Brian are going to be back. The premiere is coming up on Thursday. So Allie and Brian will have recaps of the Challenge USA. And I can confirm I will be bringing you also Challenge USA Exit Press this season. Once again, we did it last season, so looking forward to that. Over on Nothing But Netflix, I had the chance to talk about one of my favorites, Paul Reubens, of course, better known as Pee Wee Herman, passed away last week on Nothing But Netflix. Chappelle and I watched Pee Wee's Big Holiday, which is a 2016 Netflix original, and we got the chance to talk about that film, which I'm sure a lot of people might have checked out for the first time this week. And of course, so many great memories of Pee Wee Herman on Nothing But Netflix this week. And then over with Josh Wigler, we started a brand new adventure together that it was just 30 years ago, I believe today, that The Fugitive hit theaters, and Josh Wigler and I got to talking. And we said, hey, what if we talked about whatever movie came out this weekend 30 years ago on a new thing that we're calling 30 Years Greater. So let's see what happens when every week we celebrate the 30th anniversary of a film. So The Fugitive gets it all started here this weekend on RHAP and on post-show recaps. Okay. Tomorrow morning, Taran, what's in store? All right, 11 a.m. Do you like the art?
I like the happier one better.
That one is disturbed.
Yes. Sorry, that's a cursed one.
Someone got paid to make that.
Yeah. All right. So you don't like it? We'll call. Do you like that one?
That was
I think
good,
it's
actually.
fun
That
to
was
mix them
pretty good.
up. I don't like that it's the same one every day.
We need to get a full Taran photo shoot so that he can really, like, one with like finger guns would be good. You know, like get
A
creative.
thinking one.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he could do one where
it's
he's
like a
like
really
rubbing his hands
strategic day.
together.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But of course, Monday morning, Taran will be back 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Make sure if you're watching us here on YouTube, got to hit that subscribe button. Got to get the bell notification to know when the show goes live. Taran, anything else to set up for tomorrow?
It's gonna be a good time. Make sure you tune in.
Okay. All right. Don't miss it. A lot of fun in the chat as well. And of course, you can follow everything we're doing. All of the links to all of our podcast feeds, they're available at robinswebsite.com/subscribe, robinswebsite.com/Big Brother for all of our Big Brother podcasts only. All right. So then, very fun show tonight. Great recap of the episode for tonight. Aysha, what else is coming up for you?
Yeah, so y'all can follow me on all social media at Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Jason Reed and I wrapped up our coverage of Married at First Sight back in July, but then we just dropped yesterday a great interview with Jasmine Seacrest, who was on Married at First Sight season 16, the season we just covered. We had a great conversation about her time on the show, what she's up to now, so definitely go check that out. On the RHAP YouTube channel and anywhere you get your podcasts. And yeah, subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed because we also did some postseason interview with Tiff from The Ultimatum. So you have all of the coverage of Married at First Sight, The Ultimatum, Love is Blind, Perfect Match with Kirsten and Jason. All of these unconventional love shows. You can find that on the Love at First Sight feed wherever you get your podcasts.
Great job tonight, Aysha. So fun to get you back here on the Big Brother podcast. Kirsten, what's coming up for you?
Yes, so of course,
And all the hot dummies.
There's a lot of hot dummies around. There's a lot. So of course, Mess Magnets with Sasha Joseph. We're talking about pop culture, celeb gossip, trending topics, all that good stuff. Should have a great episode this week. And then everything else is over on the Hot Dummies on Islands feed. We've got Temptation Island. We've got Love Island. Too Hot to Handle just wrapped. And I think that's all for now. So we'll see. We divorced the Big D because it was too sad. But
yeah,
other than that, all over on the Hot Dummies on Islands podcast feed, and anything else, you can just follow me at Kirsten Said What everywhere.
Okay. All right. To the woman that may be the last Kirsten standing this week.
I hope so. This is how I win, is I don't have to hear everyone saying my name all season anymore.
I know we don't talk about Big Brother Canada 11 too much, but there was briefly a Rob on that season, and it was annoying.
It's just weird.
I can speak for me. I can speak for me. It was like I'd hear Taran say, and then Rob said, "Oh, wait, what?" No, like, no. It's annoying. Yeah. All right. Kirsten, great job here tonight. And then Taran, what's next for you?
Update tomorrow. The stock watch, first stock watch, going to be on Tuesday, so that'll be a great time. Make sure you tune in for that. Find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, hanging out, watching episodes, having a good time there. We played some Goose Goose Duck today. I dropped a Goose Goose Duck video over on my YouTube channel as well. So yeah, check all that
Felicia's
stuff out.
Mike, dropping them left and right.
Yeah, it's I gave him on what he deserved, and that was what it was.
Okay. All right, Taran. Great job tonight. Looking forward to the live feed update in the morning. We want to give a special congratulations to our great friend Kevin Jacobs, who tied the knot today. Congratulations to Kevin and Jillian for a, I'm sure, amazing wedding today. So congratulations to Kevin. I'll be back on Monday with the slop with Mike Bloom. We'll send out the link to the patrons during the day. If you see that slop happening, robinswebsite.com/get sloppy. Looking forward to having some fun with Mike about BB25. Thank you so much for joining us here on a Sunday night to talk BB25. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.